victory for Venezuela. And here is what USA manager Mark DeRosa had to say after the game. These comments catching a little bit of heat. Quote, honoring the Padres, had we taken the lead, he was coming in. Obviously, he's referring to not using closer Mason Miller in the ninth inning, but I wasn't going to bring him in a tie game. So Team USA loses. There's a lot to unpack here. Doggy, why did Team USA lose this game on Tuesday?
Well, they didn't hit the whole tournament, so that's the biggest reason, and I'll throw a couple things at Steve in a sec. Let me address the Mason Miller thing first. Not that I'm privy to it, but the Cubs had to be coerced by Venezuela to allow them to use the closer, but only if they had a lead. They had a lead. They bring Valencia in. He gets out of here. He has a great inning. The Padres basically must have told DeRosa, listen, if we have a lead in the top of the ninth, you can bring him in for 3 outs. That's the only condition. He had pitched a couple days prior to that. He cannot come in a tie game because even if he comes in a tie game and he gets to 3 outs, there's no guarantee you're going to win a game, because you still got to score in the bottom of the ninth inning. So I do think DeRosa's hands were tied with the whole Mason Miller thing, Whitlock's had a great, he's a good pitcher, so you don't want to kill him, but that's the reason Miller didn't pitch, I think, because, of course, the U.S. didn't have a lead. As far as the big picture is concerned, the U.S. didn't hit. I mean, let's face it. They didn't hit against the Dominican Republic. They only scored 2 runs. They didn't hit against Italy. They got beat 5-3 in that game. They didn't hit an awful lot in that ball game. Who cares about Great Britain? They stink. Who cares about Brazil? They stink. In the games that you thought the U.S. offense would really get something going with that huge lineup, they did absolutely nothing. Harper didn't do anything. Last night he had a big game, so we leave him alone. Steve just mentioned the 8th inning home run. It was a great home run. Judge, you got to get on.
Sure.
That's all there is to it. He struck out 3 times. He hit a ground ball to third base. I know he had a good game against the Blue Jays last year where Yankee fans and the Yankees say, oh, wow, look at him in Game 3 against Toronto when he won a game by himself. Other than that, you got to be fair. And I'm a Judge fan. Steve will talk about this now. He does not play as well on the big stage as he does on a routine game in June against the A's.
Sure.
And last night, Stephen, it was not a good 3. You know, you can't strike out 3 times and hit a ground ball to third in a game that the whole world is watching when you're the best hitter on the planet. And that's what he did. Go ahead.
Listen, that's exactly true. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Aaron Judge, when you're talking about him, he's hit 222 for the tournament. You know, I mean, I'm looking at that last night. And then I'm looking at Bryce Harper, who goes 2 for 4 with his 2-run shot, obviously, right? The rest of the team was 1 for 26. 1 for 26.
Wow.
A .038 batting average. 1 for 26 with no RBIs and 10 strikeouts. And then when you look at the heat of their lineup, just think about this here. You're talking about Harper. You're talking about Schwarber. You're talking about Aaron Judge. You're talking about Bobby Witt Jr. The combination of those 4 dudes against Eduardo Rodriguez and 5 relievers had 3 hits, 3 walks, and struck out 10 times last night. I mean, that's not hitting. You're not getting it done. We understand that, okay? So in that regard, that's really, really what it comes down to. But we also know this about baseball. Superior pitching eclipses and usurps superior hitting practically every time, particularly when it matters most. Okay, that's just the way that it goes. No matter how great of a hitter you are, when you're a great pitcher, that's what delivers you championships. It's just that simple. This is why they are who they are. And we understand that, and they definitely neutralized the Team USA, no doubt about it. I'm just looking at some of the stats here, just what they were going through last night. Again, you talk about Aaron Judge, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber, 0-3, a walk. He struck out 3 times. Went a combined 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts against Venezuela, the 2 of them as well. Over the final 2 games, Judge was 1 for 8 with no runs, no RBIs, and 5 strikeouts. Unfortunately, prior to last postseason, it was reminiscent of Aaron Judge in the postseason. We get that. That's something that a lot of people are going to get on him about. Me personally, having said all of that, sitting up here on First Take this morning, I got to tell you something right now. I don't mean to sound all corny or whatever. I haven't been this excited about baseball, I don't think, in my life. I think the only time that I've come close to being this excited, because I'm a diehard Yankee fan, Courtney, everybody knows that, okay? The only time I recall being this excited was when I was a kid and I personally watched Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in the World Series. That's the only time I've been that excited. I loved it when the Yankees with Derek Jeter, El Capitan, and Mariano Rivera and the boys were going on their run with Joe Torre managing. I get all of that. I understand that. I was at the game when Aaron Boone hit the home run in the ALCS, doggy. I was in the stands for that game, watching that game as a fan, okay? I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot of exciting moments. And obviously covering basketball, I've been to the biggest boxing events, the Super Bowls, the whole bit. Listen, I have never been this excited about baseball in my life. I love what the World Baseball Classic represents. I love what it's done for baseball. And I know that we're sitting here today with Team USA losing. But, doggy, it's just to show you what I'm talking about. It wasn't just a 2-run shot by Harper. It was the call on FS1. Better late than never. You know, as he's circling the bases and it's deep center field. It's out of here. And he's circling the bases. And then but from third to home, he points to the USA flag and then flexes. It's like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, everybody was hyped. And then to see Machado, who gave up the 2-run homer, and he just smiled and like, I got to give it to the man. He got me, you know. I mean, you just saw that high level of competitiveness, that nostalgia, the patriotism, the whole bit. You know it was down here in Miami. It was a whole bunch of people, Venezuelans and Latin America, and the element and the swag that they bring to the sport. We gotta give props where props is due and recognize there's some things from Latin America that we need to be embracing here in the United States of America when it comes to watching and celebrating baseball. It is special, man. And so I know that Team USA lost. I know that they didn't hit the damn ball, driving me crazy. But that moment from Bryce Harper made up for a lot of it, to be quite honest with you. I wish they had won. Obviously, I'm rooting for Team USA all day. I wasn't cheated. We weren't cheated as fans, as an audience. It was absolutely phenomenal, and it was great for the sport of baseball. It's just that these cats, they got a hit. You know, last time Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, struck him out to close the deal for Japan, okay? Last night, okay, you saw what happened when, you know, how the game ends. Schwarber striking out, obviously, Anthony striking out. You see all of these things. But in the end, we weren't robbed. We weren't cheated. We were treated to something special, man. And that Bryce Harper moment, I mean, let me tell you something right now. He's with the Philadelphia Phillies. I get all of that. He is going to be beloved for a long time for that. But you talk about a signature moment in the career of a player. To hit that shot and to stroll around third base and flex with the American flag like that, it was special, man. It really, really was. It really was.